Hi, fellow traders. Well, we are off to a great start on this last week of July. I know the first 2 weeks were rough, but they're a distant memory. I moved on past them, trying to finish this month strong, segue us into August, and we're going to finish this year strong. I told you guys this was going to be our best year, and I'm going to make it happen. Still, if it's not your best year, you better buck up and take responsibility. All right. And that's the message I have for you guys today. Take ownership of your trading. Take ownership of your trading. Nobody else owns this but you. You've invested your money into it, so you damn well better take ownership of it. Don't give it to anybody else. Don't allow anybody else to be in control of your trading. Ultimately, it's you who should be in control. I can motivate you, I can help you through the tough times and get you to push through these tough times. But in the end, it's up to you to handle your responsibility. You can't shift the focus of your problems and all of your struggles onto other people and other things. That's a simple trap that we all fall into. And it's easier to blame others for our circumstances than, to put those burdens on our shoulder and carry them. I mean, even today, you guys, if you were in chat late today, I broke that rule myself. I was blaming Benzinga Charlie for not being on and announcing the news that for EXAS, because I was in the trade and got out right before, I guess, the news had already dropped. But I didn't know it. And I got out. But it wasn't his fault. I had no reason to get out. But it was easy for me to blame me not catching that big move on him because he wasn't there to announce what was happening. So it's crazy how that happens. And we get comfortable, and it feels so easy to point the finger or the responsibility at somebody else and attribute our lack of success to things outside of our control. But the simple truth is, guys, our lives, our trading careers are worse off because of it. By blaming other people or things, we're giving away that power. We're giving away that ownership that we have of our trading to somebody else. And believe me, we're not going to be happy with what they do with it. We perpetuate a form of self-destruction and self-delusion that kind of takes that control that we have, and it leaves us feeling helpless and powerless and anxious. We feel like we don't have power over the market. And no, we may not control how the market moves, but we control how we react to that movement. So we have to take control. We can't blame the fact that we're not making money on this person in the market or that person or whatever. It's our job to suck it up and figure out how we can make money. Because if the market is moving, we can make money. And we just need to be on the right side of that movement. And that's our job. And the problem is that self-delusion and trying to blame everybody else for our mistakes, it becomes a habit. And over time, we just get used to it. And it's just an automated response. And which you saw that today. And what further ingrains this habit into us are these voices that continue to tell us, hey, the market isn't perfect. Our trades aren't going to be perfect. And it could be due to the macro level factors in the market, like the economy, the government, globalization, commercialism. We talk about the banks, the financial institutions. We talk about these scammy companies. We talk about the Fed. All of these things are the macro level factors that affect the market that we have no control over, and the market just reacts. Or on a micro level, We blame our broker, we blame our computer, we blame the internet, we blame the teacher, we blame the mentor. That it's just easy to put that blame on other people. But in reality, we actually have more control over our trading than we think. Guys, you've heard me say this time and time and time again. The one thing that we have 100% control over in this market is our execution. It's how we implement our trading strategies in the market. We have to realize that we have control over it. And in order to do that, we have to accept full and 100% responsibility for our actions. The things that we do, we have to accept full responsibility for. Okay, so guys, and I don't know if any of you read this book, Can't Hurt Me. I know the read is kind of tough if you don't like strong language, but if you can get past that, this book practically gives you a roadmap in itself of how to take ownership of your life, but you just move that over into your trading. How to take control of your trading life. That's what we have to do. Not blaming everybody on why you can't do this and why you can't do that. I hate getting emails about people that say they're ready to quit, they're ready to give up because this isn't working for them. And then when I started to ask them, well, what things did you do? How did you handle the troubles that you're going through? And they don't have they can't tell me what process they went through to address the troubles that they have. And I'm going to tell you guys, I gave you $1 million roadmap. I could legitimately market this as $1 million roadmap. I mean, legitimately market it. Because it's the same roadmap that got me to that goal. But that's not the people I want to bring in. I don't want to market and bring people in saying, hey, you can make $1 million if you do this. That's not what I want. I want guys that are serious about changing their lives, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a serious change in the way you approach your life, the way you approach the things that you do in order to get to this point. But I gave you guys this 6-7 months ago. The people that took it seriously, they're consistently profitable now. Are they making thousands of dollars a day? No, they haven't got to that point yet. But they will get there as long as they continue to implement the things that they learned on this roadmap. They can get there. It's just a matter of increasing your share size, gradually increasing your risk so that you are always right at the edge of comfort in your trades. You have to test yourself as you go. And that's where growth comes in. But you have to build that foundation first. So you guys had it. I gave it to you. You don't pay anything extra for this. You join, you're a member of the community. This comes with it. The roadmap to success comes with it. And it's open for everybody. And what really irritates me is when somebody comes to me after 3 or 4 months and tells me that they're not where they want to be. And then I have never talked to them before. We've never gone through any of the mentoring sessions, which is a big part of this. You can't do it by yourself. I don't give a damn who you are. You cannot do it by yourself. You have to you need help. You need somebody there that can help you navigate through this stuff. Any of these professional traders that are out here teaching, they will tell you, and at some point they have told you that, hey, I had to have a mentor. Now, I had to work with somebody to help me put all of these pieces together. Everybody. I had to do it. And I've been very open about that. I rejected it at first. I thought I could do it all by myself. All my life, I thought I could do all of this stuff by myself. But there's some things that you need help doing. And if you have it for free and you don't take advantage of it, shame on you. So that's why I said take control of your trading. Don't give it to anybody else. Take ownership of it. Own your mistakes. Own your successes. Don't give it to anybody else. All right, guys, so let's take a look at what we did today. And remember, I told you a little bit earlier how some stocks, they can make us look like the smartest people on the face of the earth. And then later on, it ends up making us look like the biggest jackasses that walk the face of the earth. And we experienced all of that here on EXAS. And I said all of that before we even got to this afternoon deal here. So this morning, we jumped on this on a 3-minute opening range breakdown. And you could see, and I told you, I'm going to be going back and forth between the 3 and 5 depending on the price action. So the price action dictated the 3-minute here as we were breaking the pre-market low. Solid entry. And then within the first 5-minute candle, I had hit 2 profit targets. Well, I took some off here because we're starting to run into this 106, 105.50 level. And it seemed like it was about to get hung up here. So I covered some there. And that was pretty good. That was over 1.5 points. And then once we crossed over 105, I went and grabbed some there. Because this was a solid level. 105 was a whole dollar mark and a solid psychological level. So I just kind of split in between it. And we had a little pushback. And then we finally lost that 105. Came down and hit my next target here around 103.30. And I was looking for the next level, which was at 99.80 something, I believe. But had this got down to 101, I probably would have covered some more or either taken it off if it started to get hung up. But here we started bouncing a little early, and I let it bounce. And my idea was to add on a rejection here. So never got really comfortable in this, because if you look at this kind of looked like a bull flag. As we came down, to me this looked bullish, and so I didn't add to my position. I could have taken it off, but I left it on just to see if we would reject up here at 105. We didn't, so I just took this last piece off. This was still in the profit. It was still in the money. So solid opening trade. Just disappointing that it didn't hit this final target, but with all this follow through, this was really, really good. So just kind of waited, and as this thing recovered, we broke the 50, pulled back below it, held a 9, and as we got back over the 50, I went ahead and got long. And lunchtime trades sometimes work, sometimes they don't. There tend to be kind of shorter, quicker moves, but this one just didn't feel right. And then I'm on my phone, and it just doesn't. It's really hard to manage just looking at it on a smaller chart, and you don't really have all of the information. So I just killed it and waited until I got back to the computer. And this is where we got in after it bounced off the 50 here and tried to make its move up. It broke down, so I got out of it. Once it held the 20 here, I got back in it. I felt a lot more comfortable, so I was able to get in it with more size. I think I got 200 shares here, but 300 on this this bounce here because this kind of confirmed that we were probably going to make the 100. But it bounced and got to my first target here. And what was that, around 10? I can't remember, like a little bit through 109. And then it pulled back. Yeah, 109.30 is where it hit. And then it pulled back. I was looking for 107 or 109.70s. I was looking for that. It just didn't get there. And never did make it to the 100. It pulled back, ended up stopping me out at break even. But because it looked weak and it looked like we were falling back down, I got short. And here, this is where it started to make me look like a dumbass, because I got short here and this turned out to be a bear trap. And I'm seen to be good falling for bear traps. So I got in and ended up stopping out here. But this was smart. You know, I didn't let it go against me too far. Once I realized we were gone, technically this trade was dead. So it was just a small loss within, you know, my risk management parameters. So I was good with that. And we waited until we got over the 100 and then got in. But this is like after 3 o'clock. And I'm thinking I need to cover this before 3:30 because I can't hold 300 shares going in after 3:30. And so it hit the first target and I wasn't really paying attention to this. I just went ahead and stuck 1125 out there because I had 100 shares left going into 3:30. That, you know, that would be fine based on the way this thing had moved. I really didn't think we were going to get too far over this 110.75 level. Well, it did. And then I looked at it, we were ripping. So the first person I blamed was Benzinga Charlie for not giving me the news. It's like he took a break right before earnings. And I had no idea what was going on. But in reality, it was my fault because I wasn't paying attention. We were looking at some stocks that people were asking me about on earnings. So I wasn't really paying attention to this. And the only person I could blame was myself for missing this 5-point move from 112 all the way up to 170. This is 5.5 points. I mean, just as smooth as you can be. And missed it all. I got out right before it happened. Now, yeah, I could have chased it up here when I saw it. But here it is, 3 o'clock, after 3:30. I can only take 100 to 150 shares of this anyway. And I still didn't know personally. I just read what somebody typed, what the news was. Still hadn't heard anything, so the smart thing was for me just to stay away from it. But this would have been a home run trade. We could have taken the whole week off after this. But this only happens maybe once or twice a year that we're actually in a stock when it reports news. But this was a great case where I could have just held on to it and took care of it. But it is what it is. We still ended the day really, really good. So can't complain about that. Now, we did cover a couple of swings. We took, a couple weeks ago, we added on Disney. We took off the ad according to plan, I think at 145. And J&J, it finally hit the first target, 133. So we took that off today. It hit it like late. It came really close early, and then it pulled back and it recovered late. So you'll see those tomorrow. We'll cover those in detail Sunday. When I do the swing trades, we'll do all of that together. So Look for that. They will be posted on the website tomorrow, the updates. I have to wait for everything to close tonight, so in the morning I could print it up and put it on the website. But we did close 2/3 of J&J today at 133. That's an oversold hook, so we may not get much push after this, but I leave a third on to see if we can get any further tomorrow, and then still have half the position on Disney, looking for 150. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Hope you guys have a great night, great evening, and we'll see you in the morning.